What up, everybody? This is Mr. View, and I'm back with some world history. And bam, we are out of Industrial Revolution, and we are into World War One. That's right, World War One. Everything right now in the world is going great, right? We've got new inventions. The food supply is up. The population is up. There's tons of new things going on medically, and man, everything's going really well. There's been improvements in cities. There's been improvements in the jobs and workforce as far as factories and things. No more child labor. So things are going really well. We can't have that. Let's screw it up, right? So here we go. World War One happens. Why? There's a lot of different reasons, but five in particular, right? Number one is nationalism. Nationalism is pride in your country. Zach, what is nationalism again? That's right, pride in your country. And it's really, really extreme pride in your country in some instances. So, for instance, America is better than Canada. In Canada, we will punch you in the face to prove it, right? So that can lead to some problems. My country's better than yours. No, my country's better than yours. And bam, we start to brawl, right? Reason number two, imperialism. Imperialism is when a country controls another country, right? So when somebody's strong, they control a country that's weak, right? And so imperialism was going on. There was a lot of countries with colonies. And so these colonies would provide cheap or free labor, right? Or a lot of resources, a lot of natural resources that this mother country could go take, steal, or whatever, and bring back to themselves to get them a lot of cold hard cash, right? So people were competing for other countries. Well, countries were competing for other countries. Put it like this. Here we got Viewland, this really strong country. Here we got DeCosterland. Boo! And they are both very strong countries. And over here we have little chunk Withersland. Woo! Little chunk. And Withersland has a lot of good stuff. Maybe it's got gold. Maybe it's got some lumber or whatever it's got. I want that. And I'm tougher, so I'm going to go take it. But Coster wants it too, right? He wants it for his country. And so we compete over Withersland, right? And so I might just turn and bam! Punch Mr. DeCoster in the eye and take Withersland for myself. That can cause a conflict. That can cause a war. Third reason. What were the first two again? That's right, nationalism and imperialism. Third one, militarism. Militarism means you're glorifying the military, that your military is better than other militaries, right? So you build up your arms. It's kind of like an arms race. So if I notice that DeCoster land has 3 guns, I want to have 5 guns. If he sees that, he might get 7 guns. And I might decide, well, I need 10. And then it goes on and on and on, right? He has 1 tank, I want 5 tanks. He has 2 planes, I want 7 planes. And it goes on and on and on. And we compete. And we do this arms race. The problem with that is, if I need money to build those planes and guns and whatever else, I need to go to my people and say, I've got to raise my taxes. Big bad DeCoster land is getting too tough. I need taxes. So I charge taxes to my people. And those people, they're not going to want those guns or tanks or planes or whatever just getting rusty, right? You better use them. So I've got to use those guns if I'm going to tax my people for them. Because they're not going to say, hey, I just gave you money and you're wasting it. Those things aren't even useful. So I've got to use those weapons, and I find ways to use that weapon. We would never do that in America, would we? Anyway, so there's this arms race, and taxes were a result of that. So that's reason number 3. Fourth reason, alliances. Alliances. And everybody knows what an alliance is, right? It's like a gang. Countries that help each other out. They sign pacts or deals to help each other out. So if I know whether DeCoster land is super strong, I might make a pact with I don't know, Taluki, right? And I say, hey, Taluki, anybody fights you, I got your back. You got to have my back too. And DeCoster doesn't like that, so he signs a pact with little old Haynes land. And Haynes decides that he's going to get DeCoster's back no matter what. So now If I punch De Coster, it's no longer a one-on-one fight, it's a 2 versus 2 fight. Get it? And so on and so forth. And so they had all these things. And Taluki might have a deal with Mr. Cass, right? And Haynes might have a deal with Mr. Alderman. And all of a sudden, if Alderman punches Cass, then it's not just a one-on-one. Cass is bringing Taluki, Taluki's bringing me, and now it's a 3 versus 3 fight. And that's how World War I started, not just 1 versus 1, but bam, 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 bam. A lot versus a lot. And it became a world war instead of just a war between 2 countries. So that's reason number 4. Reason number 5. The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. What's imperialism again, Terry? Yeah, that's right. It's when competing countries take over other countries. What about militarism, Lovin? That's right. Militarism is glorifying the military. Back to the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. Archduke Ferdinand was from Austria-Hungary. He was not the king. He was an archduke, right? He's basically the nephew of the king, and he's representing Austria-Hungary. He and his wife, on their anniversary, decided to visit Sarajevo, which is the capital of Bosnia. Bosnia was a country that was controlled by Austria-Hungary. So Austria-Hungary over here, big, strong country. They control this little country over here, Bosnia. Okay? They control them. Bosnia, they have some people there that they do not want to be controlled by another country. Right? Bosnia, they don't want to be controlled by Austria-Hungary. So they decide this is a problem. Austria-Hungary, and then you got Bosnia. Right? Austria-Hungary is controlling Bosnia. Archduke Ferdinand decides, hey, we're going to go visit Bosnia. My wife and I, we're going to go mingle and do whatever we got to do some dignitary stuff. Bosnians, some of the Serbs, a group within Bosnia, they don't like it. And so the Black Hand, they sound tough. The Black Hand, they decide, hey, we're going to kill this dude. He comes over here during what we consider this national holiday when we, way before, had gained our independence, and now we're under somebody's control again. We are going to kill this dude. And so on this trip, the Archduke Ferdinand and his wife, they're riding in the car. It's a beautiful car that I made. Right? They're driving in this car, and this dude tosses a grenade, or a bomb, whatever you want to call it. Bam! It doesn't get the Archduke Ferdinand and his wife. It gets a guard, and bam! Oh, kind of blows him up. But it doesn't kill him. It sends him to the hospital. And so he goes to the hospital, and he's laying in the hospital probably saying, oh, my spleen, or something to that effect, right? He goes to the hospital. Well, the Archduke and his wife, they continue along with their day. And a little bit later, they decide, hey, let's go visit that guard that got hurt. And so they're along their way. They're driving along, all fine and dandy. And the hospital's here. They miss their turn. The driver misses a turn. And Archduke probably said something to the effect of, hey, dummy, you missed your turn. And they stop. And when they stop right in front of a member of the Black Hand who happens to be eating at a little cafe. And Gavrilo Princip, the dude in the Black Hand, jumps out. He sees him. Bam! He comes over here. He shoots his gun. Pow, 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 pow. And he shoots the Archduke and his wife, Sophie. And the Archduke, as his line, apparently said, Sophie, live for the children. But she doesn't listen to him. She dies too. Gavrilo Princip is arrested, and the Archduke and his wife are dead. That is the spark that sets off World War I. Right? That is a spark. So the assassination was a big deal. Gavrilo Princip, he was only 19 years old. that for us, that's a guy that had just graduated high school a year prior. 19, he goes to prison because he's too young to be put to death, and he dies in prison. So this is the reason for World War One beginning. Right? So 5 reasons. Number 1, nationalism, pride in your country, extreme pride in your country. Maybe my country is better than yours, or maybe I don't want you to be controlling me anymore. Number 2 is that control, imperialism, controlling another country from somewhere else. So View land and DeCastro land, we were competing for Withers. I punched DeCastro in the face. That starts a war. Militarism, glorifying the military, and that arms race, building up your militaries as a result, taxing the people. You can't just let those things waste. You've got to actually use those tanks or those guns or whatever you have. Alliances, countries, instead of just a one-on-one fight here, Austria-Hungary versus Bosnia, for example, now all of a sudden it is going to be eventually a lot of countries involved. Assassination of Archduke Ferdinand from Austria-Hungary, who went to Bosnia and was killed by the Black Hands, Gavrilo Princip. Bam. And that is the start of World War One. Bam. We'll be back again tomorrow to get into the meat of the matter, if you will. Have a great day.